Fortnite OG has finally been fixed, you guys. Kind of. Now, if you guys don't know, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Fortnite actually added an expert no bot mode in Fortnite OG. One thing that I do want to bring up though is that it's crazy that Fortnite has to call a PvP experience like a mode that's purely player versus player expert mode. Not gonna lie, that's kind of crazy because that's what a battle royale is supposed to be. But nevertheless, this update finally gives me hope for OG. Epic just added a true, completely no bots mode to Fortnite OG, and like I said, it is called expert mode. Right now you can only play it in duos, and they also added it for blitz. Hopefully they do add other modes to this with experts such as solo and things like that, but even just playing solo duo has been so much fun. You guys, including myself, have seen the frustration all season and really ever since OG came out. People complaining about, fake lobbies, the fights just feeling kind of stale and boring because the bots are terrible, and how OG really just doesn't feel OG because of how filled it is with bots. Like, it got really bad at some points, especially in season 2 and season 1. At some points, it felt like it was just a complete bot fest, like it was infested, but now this makes me feel a lot better. We finally got a mode that is just real players, and honestly, this is something we should have had from the start, and it shouldn't even have to be a separate mode. This is how the OG mode should be. It should be completely bots free like it was during the first a couple days of Fortnite OG's release. Like I've said in previous videos, you guys, that one experience that I had with OG when it first came back, when there were no bots, no skill-based matchmaking, that was the most fun I had had on Fortnite in years. And what do you know, as soon as they bring it back in a new mode with no skill-based matchmaking, no bots, again, I'm having that feeling again and having so much fun on Fortnite just because, one, it's harder, and two, you have no idea what is going to happen each match. It's insane, and like the name of the mode, it is pure chaos. Now, what exactly is this expert, pure chaos mode? Like I said, it's now live in the OG playlist, and you guys, it can be a little bit difficult to find. It's not its own separate mode, which I'm very happy that they did this. They actually just made it like a separate playlist, so when you choose solo, duo, trio, squad, or whatever, it'll just be there as another option. It should say duo, pure chaos, or expert mode or something like that. These are full skill-based lobbies, not to get confused with skill-based matchmaking. There is no skill-based matchmaking in this at all, so it's exactly how it was back in the day. There's no kind of fill-in padding to help you along the way. There's no bot farm kills, and it changes the entire pace and feel of Fortnite. Every fight matters again, and at some points I was actually getting that kind of adrenaline rush, running away from people as they chase me, or getting in fights with a bunch of people at once, which is something that you really don't see in Fortnite anymore. This is the closest we've seen to true Chapter 1 lobbies since OG returned, and you feel it right away in drop spots, mid-game movement, and in-game rotations. Now, the only thing that's different about this, though, is I believe the cap in terms of players in each lobby is 80 or 90 or something like that. Probably to help with queue time so that people get in the game a little quicker. I wish that they would raise it all the way up to 100. It doesn't feel that bad because with more players in the game, it feels like it lasts longer, but there's more compression, if that makes sense. Like other times in OGs and in OG, and when there's especially a lot of bots, it feels like there will be giant circles and only 13 people left. Now it feels like the size of the circle perfectly corresponds with the amount of people left, if that makes any sense. This is a clear, quality of experience shift, and it completely reframes how OG plays in general. And to be honest, my perspective on Fortnite OG, I think this is something that is really going to turn around the conversation with Fortnite OG, because ever since it came out, it's been, it's not the same. There's so many inconsistencies and things like that. To be honest, I'm perfectly fine with the inconsistencies now that we have no bots in this new mode. Hopefully this is permanent. I know that they said the Blitz Pure Chaos, no bots, no skill-based matchmaking mode, they said that is only lasting for 2 weeks. Hopefully the OG mode, the Pure Chaos OG mode, is permanent because it has been so much fun, you guys. If you haven't been able to get in and play, you really need to take out the time to do that before, who knows what could happen with the mode. Now, why exactly does this matter? A lot more than just, hey, this is kind of fun. Like you guys know, OG has been struggling with his identity. People want it to feel like they're back in Chapter 1, but the mechanics, the systems, and just the player dynamics have changed too much, and it really doesn't feel like how it used to. Of course, it can't feel exactly how it used to because, it's 2025 and not 2017, 2018 anymore, but you get what I'm trying to say. Bot lobbies and bot lobbies in the game in general made it feel really fake. Even when the map and the weapons were right and the sounds were right and everything, the actual match flow felt off because it didn't feel competitive or alive. And a lot of streamers and creators have said things like this where it's like a game should not, I believe it was Courage JD, he said a game should not end in a bot kill, and so many times that has happened, and it really just makes the whole game feel very anticlimactic. With expert mode, with this pure chaos mode, fights feel earned again. Like when you get a kill, it's very, very satisfying. When you win, it's satisfying. Landing, tilted towers or, retail row has a lot of risk now, and actually like scares me a little bit sometimes because I know that I'm going up against, I don't know who I'm going up against. It could be the best players in the world, people that are on my level, or, people that are really, really bad. That's the fun that comes along with no skill-based matchmaking as well. The OG map now feels really chaotic and fast, but without bots. The chaos feels really, really organic. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like I'm having to, drive across the map or, move across the map just to find a real player like I find myself doing in regular BR. It feels like I have to drive all over the place to find real players. And in OG, I feel like I'm coming across more real players, and that's really, really awesome. That's what I wanted all along. It finally plays like it was meant to, and this is the true like OG chapter 1 experience. No bots, no help, no skill-based matchmaking, just thrown in there with 100 or I guess 80 to 90 players in this case, and you have no idea what is going to happen, and it's the last man standing. That is what made this mode really, really fun. Now I want to emphasize how Fortnite is doing a great job of listening to the community with this. People have been calling for this since the first week that OG came back. Remove the bots, give us real matches. I don't want to play against AI. I want a PvP experience. There were entire threads, viral posts all over the place talking about how the bots were killing the OG vibe. And not even in Fortnite OG, in the regular mode too. People were talking about it in Reload, even Blitz, even though that's made for bots, but I get it. This update feels like Epic is actually hearing what we have to say, and they're willing to negotiate between, the small minority of players that complain really loud about things like that and people who are still trying to get used to the game. It's one of the few times recently that Epic has delivered a feature that's purely for the core player base. Not a collab, not a gimmick, just a fix, just a kind of quality of life thing that people have been screaming for so long. And honestly, you guys, this could restore a lot of trust going into season 5, especially for people who felt like OG was just kind of like a marketing stunt or something that they were doing, bad things with, like not making the good experience because they wanted us to think that it's just nostalgia and it wasn't that good, so we'd stop talking about it. I think this is a great catapult into Fortnite OG season 5, which is coming out in just about 7 or 8 days, I believe. So that's very, very exciting. Season 5 is one of the most iconic OG eras. We've got Drift, Rifts, the desert biome, and the start of like real storyline tension. Of course, that's the season that Kevin the Cube came in. If Epic is starting to kind of fix the experience now and making it a little bit better for everybody who wants to play, that means that season 5 could launch with better balance and even higher potential in terms of how fun it could be in tandem with all of the awesome story stuff we have going on along with it. Honestly, I feel like the pure chaos / expert mode should be just default for OG in general, not even just for like ranked or something like that. It should be something that was set in stone from the first day, but I'm very glad that Fortnite made this change and they were listening to us. This shows that they are willing to tweak OG instead of just repeating it straight up, and that gives me hope that they're actually trying to evolve it and make sure that it is still fun for people who want to play it and experience it for the first time. But I'll be honest, I wasn't playing OG nearly as much lately, and a big part of that was the bot-filled, predictable lobbies where I like knew I was going to win probably every single game, but now I've been like exclusively playing OG since yesterday's update. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. How do you like the pure chaos expert modes? How do you feel about bots? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.